Ike's $300 lathe is making all kinds of funny noises. I don't trust it. I don't trust it one bit. What's up, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Isaac.
And we are Cars and Cameras, and we are working on the cross cart today. We are going to start on the independent rear suspension unit. We are cobbling together using parts from a 1994-93 first generation Mazda Miata and some parts from GoPowersports.com, including some hubs, sprocket, brake, live axle, and more. But first, we need to finish welding our engine mounts and brace up the engine to the chassis, and then we can work on our center section of our independent rear suspension unit. All right, so we tacked our engine mounts last time. We're gonna go ahead and fully weld them so we can permanently mount the engine so we can work on our chassis pieces for support. Cover. So we're making a small modification to the frame. These outer pieces right here are going bye-bye because we're going to mount the lower A-arms, control arms, to these inner pieces of pipe right here, and they're going to get in the way if we have those outer pieces, right?
That's right.
Like, does this mean that it's not a coffin anymore?
No, it's not a coffin. Have you never seen a dog sled before?
Yeah. We're just messing with you guys. We're going on the Iditarod. This is not going to be a go-kart. This is going to be a dog sled cart. So we're mocking up the center section of our independent rear suspension setup, and we're running into some issues. What do we got, dude?
The problem we have is we have 10 inches of space to build a hub, sprocket, disc brake, and bearings. So we're running into issues with finding a place for the bearings. So what we're thinking is if we find a bearing and like hanger to fit on here, then that would solve all of our problems because this is what we're getting. There's a lot of room in there for a bearing.
Yeah, and we can't, and that's the nice Go Power Sports hub we like so much, and we don't want to cut it down too much because, well, we're going to shear keys and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with all this horsepower.
60?
No, it's 70.
70?
68 stock.
It's like 10 horsepower less than the Ducati.
Yeah, because we don't want to shorten this hub because we're going to lose strength. And that is going to mess up our suspension geometry, the pivot point, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Just trying to keep everything tucked in nice.
So we are out here at Ikes Warehouse. He recently bought a lathe for like $300. It's really cool, but apparently we have some missing parts. So,
yeah.
Well, we're out here because I went to the store and bought some pillow blocks, but they don't quite fit into our hub there. So we need to turn down the Go Power Sports hub a little bit to get it to fit in the pillow block. But since we have parts missing from the lathe, we're just going to use sandpaper because it's just a little bit. And Ike just got back from the Hot Rod Power Tour. He had a good old time. I had to cancel, unfortunately. But he went for like 3 days, and he had a good old time in his 75 Nova. You're going to be making a video on your channel, and I'm going to be editing it. So leave a thumbs up. Ike's $300 lathe is making all kinds of funny noises. I don't trust it. I don't trust it one bit. So this is definitely not how you're supposed to use the lathe.
No.
But this is what we have. How not to use a lathe. 101 with Isaac.
Yep. I'm happy with it. Well, about as happy as I'm gonna get, bud.
Sounds good. All right, let's go see if we can make an axle.
All right.
We had to stop building last night because when we got home, we realized that our pillow blocks were actually 2 different sizes. They were in the same 1 9/16 bin at the store, but it turns out they were 2 different sizes. So Ike had to take it back this morning and shave it a little bit more. It'll be fine. It's a slight difference. Yeah, and also, guys, we have something to tell you about Isaac, or I do. He's a total fake. You see what he's driving out there today? Is that a 98?
It's a 98.
He's driving a BMW. So, do you want to tell them the story before people think you're, you know,
I mean,
getting chauffeured everywhere?
It could totally have an LS in it.
But it doesn't.
But it doesn't.
So here's the story on Ike's 328 IS. One of his customers at work was moving, and he thought it was blown up, and he just wanted to get rid of it. So he literally gave it to Ike. The thing just needed a radiator. And a fan clutch.
And other things.
And other stuff, because it's
about $800 worth of work.
But still,
yes.
Not bad.
No.
Anyway, let's get to building, buddy.
Yeah. I think what we're looking at is getting some angle iron and attaching these pillow blocks to the angle iron, and then finding the right position for these pillow blocks where we're going to place the axle and tack welding it to the frame.
All right. Can I call it 11 inches and go right there?
That'll be fine.
Cool.
Cover. We good?
We good.
Alright, dude, so this is basically what we're going to have, but we're going to shorten the axle a little bit more.
Yep. Then we're going to bolt the Miata axles to the hubs there, right?
Well, we can, yeah, the Miata axles will bolt to these hubs. And then we can hang our suspension, well, we got to build our own suspension pieces and hang them.
Yes. It's pretty much exactly how I envisioned it would be so far, though.
Really?
Yeah. All right, so we just stuck a bigger sprocket on there. That is a 50 series sprocket. It's a 36 tooth. We want to gear this thing for, like, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 in the top of fifth. What do you think?
I don't want to go that fast.
Well, me neither, but, you know, it would be nice to have the option.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Talking about, like, 70, 80 red line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like at 10 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
Anyway, so this is our best guesstimate for a decent gear where we'll have nice close shifts and we'll have a decent top speed too.
Again, it's just an estimate.
Just a guesstimate, right. And we're going to place this right in the middle of this back section of the frame and the engine so that we can put a bigger sprocket on it if we want to. And this brake is just for testing purposes, just for mock purposes. We're going to get a larger disc brake from Go Power Sports. We know that this little guy is not going to stop the dog sled cart.
It starts working. Why couldn't we pick black? It looks...
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? So Ike drilled some holes in the angle iron, so he's mounting our axle assembly to the angle iron. I soaked the Miata subframe in penetrating oil, and now I'm in the process of taking the upper and lower control arms off and the spindles off as well. One down.
So I've got this center section in place. I ran the chain on it, found out that the chain is rubbing the very bottom of the case where it's at, so I actually have to lift it up high enough to get the chain off of the case. There it is right there. It's just hitting the case. This flat bar is about the perfect height to lift this center section up and get it off of the case.
So the center section's all tacked in, and the control arm assembly for the driver's side is off, and we're just going to kind of mock it up and see what we think. So we are going to have to shorten the CV axles. Just a little bit, yeah, but it should be fine. Just need to make sure we weld it back straight.
Yep.
And so what are you thinking for lower and upper control arm design?
The top needs to be a little bit shorter than the bottoms. It helps with the wheels poking at the bottom.
Yeah, under load.
Under load or
full compression.
Full release.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll allow them to poke. Makes it more stable, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But basically, we're just going to come up with tabs. They're going to come off the chassis right there. That's what we're going to be able to bolt our control arm to. All right, guys, so it is major decision time here. We've been sitting back and just taking a good look at this cross cart because we need to decide how wide the rear track width is going to be. And that's also going to determine our front track width. So we were thinking it looked a little bit too small with these wheels and tires we had on the front, also on the rear. So how tall were those, Ike? 19 inches. So we grabbed those wheels and tires, also from Go Power Sports, 19 inches tall. Yes, we know the tire's backwards, and that seems to look better.
16's on the front.
Yeah, and that's 16 inches tall. And we could always put a taller wheel/tire on there as well.
Yeah.
Now we want this to be adjustable height for suspension, so I don't know, maybe there at the highest and maybe 4 inches lower at the lowest.
Yeah.
I think would look good. And I say this is major decision time because this is really going to determine how fast we can go off-road and then also how gnarly off-road trails we can handle with this thing. Of course, the wider we make it, the more stable it's going to be at speed, but the wider we make it, the less trails we're going to be able to go down. So we were thinking of making it a little narrower, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it'll be fine, right?
That's right.
So once we come to a decision, we're going to start working on the top rectangle of the rear subframe area and then the control arms. You know how you guys have been telling us to get a real muffler for the 428 TV since we built it? Well, Jason, one of our subscribers who's been out to Mini Mayhem, sent us 2 Harley-Davidson Screaming Eagle exhausts. One is like a total pass-through, right? Is that what they call them? It's sort of like a straight pipe.
It's a straight
It
pipe.
looks cool. And this one is going to be stock off a Big Twin, at least Ike says. So yeah, shout out to Jason. You can come meet him at the next Mini Mayhem. He builds some pretty wicked stuff. Yeah, so like we've been saying, it's decision time for the cross cart. Yeah, we were thinking we'd use this puppy on this cross cart, but we don't think it'll flow quite enough for this 750. It'd be great on a 420 though. Ike says time to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those pieces to make our rectangle enclosure for our center section, and then we can get to welding.
Mm-hmm. This is strictly eyeballing.
Strictly eyeballing.
So all we got to do now is make the upper square, dude.
Yep, just the rectangle.
You've been framed. What, are you gonna do the measure from one corner to the other?
I guess, yeah. We're looking at 14 pretty much on the dot. 14 on the nose. Wait. Tacked. Not bad, buddy.
Thanks, pal.
All right, guys, that's all we have time for this evening. I hope you enjoyed the video today. We got the center section of our independent rear suspension done on our CB750 cross cart. It should be heavy duty enough for us. There was some lathing required, A little bit of eyeballing, but overall I think it turned out really well. Next time, we are going to connect the rear section to the hoop. So bracing, and then we're also going to get to work on the lower and upper control arms. I think it's starting to look more and more like a vehicle and less like a dog sled or a grocery cart. Buy from GoPowersports.com for brakes, sprockets, hubs, all your go-kart and mini bike needs, and don't forget to enter their monthly in-store credit giveaway and let them know that we sent you at checkout. Facebook and Instagram at CarsandCameras Reviews.
Check me out at Isaac, it'll be fine.
Pick yourself up a Mini Mayhem t-shirt at Cars-Cameras.com to help support this build and all the ones we have going on in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.